Hey, it's a Sunday, and a Sunday means that I answer all of your questions. So I'm on my YouTube channel now. I'm gonna read through, find some niggling property questions that you've had, and do my best to answer those right now. If you have a niggling property question that's not answered, or if I answer one question and it shoots another question to mind, please do comment your question below. I'll do my best to answer next week. Also, I put out a new video every single day, and this is the only day of the week where I do this. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss the awesome content that come out. And please don't forget to smash that like button as well. It really helps with the algorithm. I appreciate that. So let's get some of these questions answered. Let's see what we got. So Colleen Anderson, I recognize that name. I think I might have met Colleen Anderson somewhere. But she says, hi Sam, a great video. Question for the next Q&A, which is this one. When doing direct to vendor letters, landlord letters, which VA system do you recommend using for calls, as I work flat out and wouldn't be able to answer calls as and when they come through? Thanks in advance. Great question. And the fact that you asked that question just shows that you're on the right page. So firstly, landlord letters are fantastic. So that's when you send out a letter direct to someone that's selling their house, a landlord or an owner. And the thing is, as Colleen said, is when you send out a letter, you need to put a contact at the bottom of the letter, otherwise they won't get in touch with you. But if you're really busy, then your contact number, they might phone you and you'll miss the call. So what I do is now I have staff and stuff, but what I started doing in the early days is I had a personal assistant, a virtual assistant. You can get these freelance. So I use a company called I'm Your PA, and Michelle Ibbs, who's a really good friend of mine, and also she was a VA for me for many years. She's got a company, and they can literally you can buy like a number. So if you're sending letters, landlord letters, to Middlesbrough, you can buy, I think it's like £30 a month, a Middlesbrough local landline number, and then when they call that landline number, Michelle and her team will answer the phone, and they'll take a message, and then they'll text you or email you. And then what that means is, the end of each day, 5 o'clock, you can just check your phone, check your emails. You've got all these people to phone back, and bam, 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 you can phone them all at once. So it's a really good setup, so good job. Glad you're sending the letters, glad you're taking action, and hope that little tip helps with the power team. And if you want to, you can meet my whole power team. So any of our advanced training that we do, we introduce you to mortgage brokers, solicitors, personal assistants, people that even view properties on your behalf, which is really cool. So let's see what else we've got. Annabelle Quevedo, hope I pronounced that right, said, would you buy a flat in a building? Are they not good investments because they are sold in leasehold? Thank you, I really enjoy your videos. Thank you, Annabelle, for your question. So yeah, I would buy a flat. I don't massively advocate flats because the problem with flats that I've found, one problem is that they are, you get a service charge. So ground rent, service charge, because the thing is with an apartment or a flat, you own the flat, but you don't own the building that it's in. And the building, the good thing about that is the building is maintained by someone else apart from you, but you have to pay an annual charge for that, and you don't know what that charge can be, and it can change. So sometimes it's difficult working out the return on investment. Also flats, I found that they don't go up much in value. I think that when Friends, you know the series Friends, when that came out, was that in the back end of the 80s, early 90s maybe? Apartments became really popular. Everyone wanted an apartment because they wanted to be like what they saw in Friends. New York apartments went crazy, London apartments went crazy. But when I started buying apartments in 2008, they've not gone up anywhere near as much as houses have gone up. So, but yeah, I would buy them. They're not terrible. If the return on investment's good, if you're gonna make money on them, no problem. I'd rather buy the building and then turn it into apartments than just buy an apartment now, generally speaking. And yes, you're right, they are leasehold, and that just means that you don't own the ground, you just own the apartment. So, yeah, hope that answers your question. Not terrible, not brilliant. It depends from property to property. David says, question for you. Do you think a communal lounge area is necessary in an HMO property? Very interested to hear your thoughts. No, it's not necessary. So if the bedrooms are 100 squared feet, which is a good double-sized bedroom, you do not need a communal area. And what I've noticed with HMOs is that the tenants don't use the communal area that often. So as long as the bedrooms are 100 square feet each, which is just a decent double-sized room, you don't need one. If they're less than that, then the bedroom, all HMOs, the bedrooms need to be at least 70 square feet. If it's more than 70 but less than 100, you will need a communal area though. So I usually find in HMOs, annoyingly what happens is 1 or 2 tenants tend to almost claim the communal area, and they're in it all the time and no one else really uses it. So these days I've been buying houses and having slightly bigger bedrooms, no communal area, no TV. You don't need a TV in a HMO, they just use their laptops and their phones. So I hope that helps, David. All right, Adam. Hi Samuel, appreciate the great work. Boom, thanks Adam. We're just wondering, when you sell a deal onto another investor, is there a VAT on top of the finder's fee? Also, is there income tax on top of that? Okay, really important, VAT. You cannot charge VAT unless you are VAT registered. Otherwise, you would be breaking the law, because VAT is, if you're VAT registered, you have to pay VAT on everything, and that's why people that are VAT registered will charge VAT on top. So you don't need to be VAT registered. You have to check with an accountant. I think it's £86,000, but let's say 80 to be safe. If you earn less than, if your company earns less than £80,000 or you earn less than £80,000, you don't need to be VAT registered, you don't need to pay VAT, and you shouldn't be charging VAT. So income tax, no, you shouldn't charge income tax on top of a fee. That's just something that you have to pay. If you want to do that, then just put your prices up, but you wouldn't have it as a separate billing amount. So I hope that helps. Great question, thank you for that. Okay, let's see what else we got. Nella says, can you get a lease option agreement even if your credit score is low? Yes, you can. You don't need a good credit score to get a lease option agreement. What you should be mindful of though is at the end of the lease option agreement, let's say it's 5 or 10 years, that's when you'll have the option to buy the house. I would be wanting to get your credit sorted by the time the lease option agreement ends, so that you can then buy. But you don't have to, and you can walk away at the end of the period, or you can even transfer it onto somebody else as long as it's all written up properly by a solicitor. Okay, Dave, if you're doing a rent-to-rent, how do you check if the existing landlord's mortgage allows you to do rent-to-rent, as in the eyes of the mortgage company? You're effectively subletting. Okay, so rent-to-rent needs to be done properly. How do you know if the mortgage company gives you permission to rent it out? Let's say you're turning a single dwelling into a multi-let. How do you know if the mortgage company gives you permission to do it like that? You just need to ask the question. You just need to make sure that the landlord, if the landlord has a mortgage company, that he informs the company of what he's doing. It's really simple. You won't speak to the mortgage lender. You'll do it all through the owner, but you'll have to tell the owner what you're doing and make sure that he's happy and he has no mortgage, or his mortgage company is happy. So we have got more, but I think that's probably all we've got time for this evening. So if you've got more questions and you want to hear the answers next week, just drop a comment in below, drop a question in below. I love doing this every single Sunday. Don't forget, we have videos every single day, so subscribe, never miss a video. Look forward to seeing you reach success.